Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Smart is coming back. The days of just picking teams based on a coin toss are over. You need the latest stats, odds, and information. Make a plan. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Well, duh. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159.
Best hour of your day now officially is underway. It's Moneyline, and we got a lot of topics to get to. I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Kevin Walsh. Kevin wasn't here yesterday. I was, because I showed up to the network and put in work after a company party in Midtown Manhattan. That's the type of man I am, Kevin. How about that? You got the day off. You relaxed. I couldn't. But before I let you get the mic, Sharapan came on, popped on mid-show yesterday. Might have saved my life. Might have saved my life. I was running on such fumes on the 3-hour show in the morning that it was so tough. I was like, all right, professional. I'll get through this hour. But he pops on. We had some fun. After I get off, Kevin, I was so tired, I couldn't even drive to get my lunch. I had to order in. And while I was waiting to order in, I took a 50-minute nap, woke up 8, and went right back to bed for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. Gassed yesterday, man. Gassed.
Yeah. Wednesday's my day off.
Stop.
That's what
about Tuesday? Did you have any time off Tuesday or Monday? How about Monday? Did you have a day off Monday?
I had a sick day Monday. That's how these things go. Wednesday was a recovery day though for many people out there in the streets. I did see Dave hopped on. Dave was working the night shift on Tuesday. Yep, the Christmas hat looked good. He was getting it done. So shout out to that. What did old Sharapan want when he came on here? The Consig.
Figured maybe 5 days a week now. Consig wants to make an appearance on the show.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Bump things around at that point. But by the way, also, you know what I've been finding out here from Moneyline, Kevin? Wake up, you know me, because again, you're not a morning person anymore. I wake up in the morning, come down to the office, throw in the TVs, and there's an automatic, one of my TVs goes right to cable, one goes right to just digital, which is Samsung TV, which again, the channel I have up is the SportsGrid network. You know, Moneyline is now playing in the morning on TV. How about that? Big time. First time I noticed it, you were on by yourself when you did the Tuesday show, which I woke up, I guess, Wednesday morning to see it. So today's Thursday, popped on the same thing. It was me and Sharapan were on there from Moneyline yesterday. So how about that? No darts in the morning, Moneyline in the morning? Ooh.
Oh, I see. A re-rack. I got you. Yes. Oh, okay. Yep. Interesting. Yep. Man, Tuesday they were popping us with news left and right, DRS, during that show. They were Jimmy Butler's, he wants to go here, he wants to go here, he wants to go here. So we were trying to figure that whole thing out too. And I was still kind of on the back end, to be honest with you, of the I feel much better today compared to how I felt Tuesday. So once they threw me Jimmy news, I'm like, all right, guys, let's sit back, relax, and figure out where Jimmy Butler's going. So that's what we were doing.
There you go. So a lot of action across there. Certainly we'll have some good topics today. Chat box popping already. 151 DDD says, finally caught you guys live. So he's in the chat box. Akbar's out there. Jordan's out there. X-Man's out there. So things are popping on a Thursday. We got a really good Thursday night football game to go over and a lot of questions if we should be going after Deebo Samuel if he's unhappy not getting the football and they demand they get him the football tonight. We'll get to that. But I wanted to start with a hot topic. We are getting to Bill Belichick. That's going to be fun. But even more fun of a topic, Kevin, which I love to jump on this stuff. If you notice, there is a trend going around, and it's not a great trend. It's that high net worth athletes are playing football games, basketball games, baseball games in prime time, and people know that they're not home at that time. So you go and, rob their address and steal what you want because they're not home, which, again, has been happening. And I think the NFL a couple weeks ago, Kevin, actually sent representatives from the NFL to each team saying, hey, look, here's what's going around. Here's what you can do. And here's how you can protect yourself, which is the right thing to do. But Joe Burrow's house got broken into on Monday night. Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Joe Burrow now is upset, like not even at the break-in, but that it got any coverage at all. Because now he says, you people know too much, which you know what they picked up on, Kevin. Somebody called in the crime at their house, which turns out to be a younger woman who is a model, who apparently is his girlfriend, that he didn't want to get out there. So now Burrow is upset that that's now out there. And I said, that's the life that you live at this point. You can't hide everything from the people, Kevin. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that was a thing. That is a legitimate shame. That's like, I never would have even, I guess because I'm not a criminal, put two and two together. Like, oh, we know this person's schedule, so we can. I did see Tua Tagovailoa though essentially say, if you want, go ahead. There, it won't be simple.
Yep,
We'll be
I
waiting.
live in Florida.
Like I was like, wow, all right, man. Tua's playing a different ball game down there. Tua is playing a different ball game.
By the way,
down in South
real quick on Tua, because we know what he was alluding to, but could he be alluding to, like, I have like 9 Samoans in here that will snap your neck immediately the minute you walk
I
into
think
my
that
house.
would be significantly scarier than anyone being armed.
Yes.
I think that would be,
like Samoa Joe
way more
is in
horrifying.
there. Like you see him as soon as you open up the door. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Wrong address, guys. It's the next door address.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's it. Exactly what would be the concern. I did not know that was a thing. That was like a big picture thing. And I mean, I saw the story and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what do you? I don't even know what you like now. You like all of them have to have like high level security if they're like I don't know. That's just nuts. That's so nuts.
People
to me.
staying at your house, guards, making sure nobody's there at this point. But again,
is it
is
it one of those things where I mean the whole thing's nuts, but the target is more a younger athlete whose home is more likely to be vacant than say somebody who may have a family that was likely to be there regardless. Or the idea the families are all at the games anyway. So
like or LeBron would be getting lifted every other week then at that point. Like, we know he's got a ton of money. We know where he lives. Nobody's home. Let's just get after it. So yes, there's probably an MO to that where it's escaped out. The single guy, maybe has a girlfriend. Girlfriend's probably on the road with him at the game, or just a wife at that point where it's not like, hey, I got the family living here. But again, I just like you see Joe Burrow. He's the worst dresser in the world on purpose, which makes me laugh. Happy-go-lucky guy, an absolute baller. And then, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, Olivia Ponton, was the girl who called the cops, I guess, realized, like, hey, somebody broke into the bathroom window. Let me call it in. So, of course, that's public record. Wait a second, who's this person? So instead of like, hey, Joe, how do you feel like getting robbed? It was like, hey, Joe, you got a girlfriend. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you because I'm not super interested in all that stuff. But I heard there were like a lot of layers to that, though. There was employment, apparently. Apparently, she's actually not straight. I mean, so I don't even know.
That's hold on. You know more than me.
I saw memes. But but Don, like I see like memes, kind of things like that. But I'm not like doing like I don't know who she is, right?
Yeah, like, I didn't have any idea who she was.
Yeah, well, but one apparently like it was under the idea that she was employed by him. Yes.
Wow.
Which I don't really understand that game whatsoever at all.
Now, but you know what this gets down to, though? You know what this gets down to?
Yeah.
Like, you see it sometimes as like, hey, look, and you bring somebody to a Sixers game, a Knicks game. Somehow you wind up where the camera finds you there, and you sort of turn away from the camera because you're not supposed to be there with that certain person. Now it's like, all right, Joe just started dating somebody else, and place got robbed, and somebody else is calling, and that's his girlfriend. I didn't think you had a girlfriend. You told me you didn't have a girlfriend. Like, is that what he's angry about right now? Maybe his spot's blown up?
And I think that's, for Joe Burrow, that feels very on the board, right? I would say for Burrow, that feels very on the board that he might be moving differently there. Was his place in Ohio? Is that, I imagine he's got to have multiple places.
I actually think, though, most of the athletes that play for the Bengals live on the Kentucky side. I think there's really nice suburbs like just over the bridge. Like in Philadelphia, a lot of people live in New Jersey as opposed to PA. So I think that's probably the case. But Joe Burrow angry, not because his house got broken into. Spot was blown up a little bit there. DMs are probably they're caved in at this point, people. More topics next. It's Moneyline. It's Thursday. Let's go.
We're the club you want to join, even though we'd have you as a member.
You'll like it here. We have munchies.
And the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
A Wisconsin man who faked his own drowning and left his wife and 3 children and was believed to have been in Eastern Europe willingly returned to the U.S. after roughly 4 months and is in custody.
With the SportsGrid News Flash, I'm Trey Westerberg.
This update brought to you by Verizon. Brian Borgward came back on his own because of his family, according to Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol. The 45-year-old landed Tuesday and was being held at the county jail pending an afternoon court appearance. The sheriff said his office has recommended a number of charges, including obstruction. Albertsons is giving up on its merger with Kroger, and it is suing the grocery chain, saying it didn't do enough to secure regulatory approval for the $24.6 billion agreement. The move came the day after 2 judges halted the merger in separate court cases. Kroger and Albertsons in 2022 proposed what would be the largest grocery store merger in U.S. history. The company said a merger would help them better compete with big retailers like Walmart, Costco, and Amazon.
I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard, you have to shovel. Another blizzard, you slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
You've heard of smart bombs,
Smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses.
Now you can add smart player.
Giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, I'm live and in charge. Radio on the SportsGrid Network. Sirius XM channel 159. It's Donnie and Kevin. It's Moneyline. Can't wait to make up. Tomorrow's my day off in the morning. I do radio and again Moneyline tomorrow at 11 a.m. But watch the boys live on TV. See if that continues here at that point. So it's good stuff. SportsGrid on demand. A lot of people in the chat box now having some fun. Chris Beatty just checked in, and you know all the rest of the characters out there as well. Having fun, sharing information, looking at that 49ers-Rams game, which we will get to. But big news did drop, and relatively, it was fast. And we're talking about Bill Belichick. This is maybe first of all, the best coach in NFL history for me. Now, I know it's more modern times and people give you Lombardi and all that stuff, but just in modern times, NFL navigating the salary cap and the restrictions that you have now, which you didn't have back in the day, and limited teams, and the NFL was dominant, and the AFL really wasn't there yet, and then they turned into the AFC. You get the point here. Yeah. I call it like I say it. I think Tom Brady's the best quarterback I've ever watched, and Bill Belichick is the best coach. Now, Belichick was let go in New England. The run was up. It was time. He had full control of the franchise itself. Tom Brady moves on. He tries to spend money. It's really not his MO. He's used to having the best quarterback. Now he doesn't. So he leaves. But we were led to believe, too, the minute he got fired, it's like, wow, there's probably going to be 6, 7, 8 jobs in the NFL opening up. He's going to get one of them. Didn't get one of those. And then we heard like the squawking, Kevin, in the background, like, we know, well, if he goes there, it's full control. And, owners are a lot of the time. Look, I'll let you come into my franchise, but I will have the final say, with Belichick basically telling teams like, you're the owner. Drive around in your Rolls Royce, take your helicopters and your flights. I don't want to see you in the football building, is basically what he would tell new owners. Leave it up to me. I have the track record. I don't want you butting in. Doesn't get a job there. Then mysteriously for me, Kevin, is maybe college football was going to be a route. Out of nowhere, interviews from all places, Kevin, North Carolina. Now he winds up getting the job. And let's start there. The minute that he interviewed to the time he was hired, was your thought process of, I just want to interview to get my name out there? Or are you really thinking that this could have been legitimate, like he actually might be the head coach in North Carolina?
I was praying it was real because you know that you and I have had conversations on the idea. I thought it would be great. Yeah. I am super in on this. And, I don't want to jump the gun. Like, we'll go at whatever pace you want for kind of this subject here.
Yes.
But I will just say, if I was a high-level coach,
Mm-hmm.
I think forever, and I would let you tell it better than me, forever, like if you want to be the real deal, you get to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Donnie, if I'm a high-level coach and both sides are calling, I'm looking college. It's got pro-style aspects. It's got pro-level money. And it's, Donnie, like the job security is so much better to me in college football. So much better.
5 years, $50 million. And also, that's just not like I'm getting the coach there. When college coaches usually press the needle down, it means they're going to get paid. They want their assistants to get paid more than anybody else. And now in this day of NIL, like we're not reinventing the wheel per se. We're sort of perfecting it. And I always like to use this like way back in the day, Kevin. I was watching a movie the other day called, I think it was The Founders, about McDonald's and how the franchise came to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the owners out in California, the first two like businesses there, and then they had somebody come in and goes, all right, it's time to take you national. And there was that clash like, hey, I don't want this done. Just listen to me, trust me. The reason I'm bringing that up is like you need to say, here's the system in place. Now let's take this big time and go full ask. And that would mean that North Carolina is saying, bring the professional aspects along with your coaching ability to this institution, and let's revolutionize what's going on. A complete football intact organization and a separate front office, which again, they're going to intertwine. But in the NFL, there are the scouts that are on one side of the building. Then there's the football crew. If I need the scouts, I'll come calling. But now you're designed to say, I'm going to have, 10 or so recruiters and a general manager that only job is to figure out what kids want, how much money they want, how much we can pay them, just like an NFL general manager will have the salary cap team right behind them. Let me coach, but also bring me the finer points. I'll tell you what I need, right, Kevin? I need a wide receiver, a top flight. I need a fullback who's leaving. Make sure you get me a kicker because I have a kicker who's a senior, and also hit that portal. It's interesting to me. So knowing what Bill Belichick is setting up, we'll get to his son in a moment. How do you think that works now in the collegiate landscape, coming back to where we're going to bring that NFL front office to college?
I think it works great, right? A lot of these schools do have a GM type of role. We've heard the NIL number is going to be around $20 million. I believe, Donnie, that makes them as competitive as any school in the country, at least within range of what that gives them the ability to do. And I think that I believe you might think I'm nuts, Donnie. If Arch Manning was undecided and in high school, all of a sudden, I think North Carolina gets on his list because Peyton and Arch go, or Archie go, you know what? Let's consider playing for Bill Belichick. Let's consider that because that could be a whole different avenue for us. Now, maybe he still goes to Texas, right? Because they bleed at, football down in the South. But I just think, Donnie, that is one of those things that would have never been on the board that is now on the board. What I am a little worried about for Belichick is the thing that it felt like burned him a lot down the backstretch of New England is I can only work with 6 people. And I'm not trying to take any shots at Mike Lombardi, who's obviously, been a GM at a high level.
Yeah.
But Mike Lombardi has been basically an on-air talent now for the better part of the last, decade?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly last 5+ years. I think Donnie would have been more encouraging, right? Had it been someone else. But again, it's less about Lombardi and it's more about, is Matt Patricia going to be my offensive coordinator? Because, Donnie, here's the thing. I'm almost expecting it to be Josh McDaniels, which I think I could sell you on being good. I cannot sell you on Joe Judge and Matt Patricia being the offensive coordinator like that season for Mac Jones. Now, that's when I start to worry a little bit that, oh, man, this guy still can only work with the same 4 or 5 guys.
And also from me, like trying to put it in perspective, like you had Tom Brady for all those years. He covers up so many issues. You don't have good wide receivers. You don't have a good running back. You don't have a good offensive line. This guy's injured. Well, you got Tom Brady. He makes them all disappear. And we're going to talk about this more because what the kids think of Bill Belichick. Yes, he's cool because you see him all over the place. He's with the Mannings. He's won all these rings. Tom Brady was his coach. But it's not the Patriot way in college. And what I mean by that is contracts in the NFL are much different than the transfer portal in college. Let's keep the conversation going on Belichick and also focus on Thursday Night Football. It's Moneyline. We'll be right back.
We never stop giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day.
7 days a week.
Business hours are for losers. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
Hello, everybody, from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Jim Gibbons here on a rainy day as they move the tarpaulin from the field.
1965 Chicago halfback Gale Sayers ties an NFL record for most touchdowns in a game with 6.
Give me 18 inches of daylight. That's all I need.
Despite his career being mired with injuries, Sayers was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977 at the age of 34. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Chinese researchers have created a robot that can identify plants just by touching them. Mimicking the delicate touch of human skin, identifying plant species with 97% accuracy, sensing moisture and texture machine vision can't see. The goal? An army of robot farm workers tirelessly monitoring, fertilizing, and applying pesticide to individual plants 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, increasing crop yields. Even identifying dangerous plant species.
That would be poison ivy.
Follow me, at G. Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Moneyline.
I heard a voice out there. I see a Steelers shirt. Let me rise up in my seat here. Rise up in my seat. Rise up! It's Dave Sherapan. What is the deal, brother?
You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Steelers-Eagles week. The
Yeah.
PA battle. The Eagles Super Bowl.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
There, Sporto.
We know you've been hurt in the past. Big stations with big promises lied to you, suckered you in.
We don't do that. We're the real deal.
You can take our information to the bank. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. And now, back to Moneyline with Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside.
Belichick to North Carolina. He's going to introduce today, Kevin. So it's not one of those things that has to wait some time to get some things worked out. His 400-page manifesto when I went to turn around UNC football was okayed. 5 years, $50 million, unlimited amount of NIL funds, it feels like, and probably a coaching staff come along that's not going to be cheap. Now, we'll get to his son in a moment. Still want to hang that one out there. But as I was talking about before we went to the break, I'm going to draft you into the NFL. First-round draft pick, I got you for 5 years. I'm going to mold you. You can't go anywhere. You know you can't go anywhere unless I trade you or cut you. And I'm more likely, if you're not playing well, just to sit you down and deactivate you until you get things right. Same thing with a second-round pick and a third-round pick. It's years there. You just can't have your own movement. So when I say, okay, sell your bill of goods, NIL, I'm coming to school. 3 weeks into September, I'm not having any fun here. I was a 5-star quarterback. I don't even know if I like it anymore. Awesome. I can transfer anytime I want now. I wonder how Bill Belichick handles that, and also the chance to re-recruit these players at the end of the year. I'm not saying it's going to be a net negative for him, like, oh, he's going to get kids who are just going to want to leave. But you can't have the Patriot way where all we heard of for years, from Gronkowski, who's got a personality, Julian Edelman, and Tom Brady, was it's all about winning and business, and you want to have fun on your own time. I don't want to see it here. Like, you show up to work, you are clocking in. Does that work in college, or can Bill Belichick just be like, hey, look, I had to do that as a pro, but I don't need to do that now?
So I think, Donnie, I don't worry about guys hitting the portal because, again, like Belichick's whole game was like, I'll get rid of you the second I don't need you. And I imagine like Belichick may not want to have the same quarterback 2 years in a row at the college level, right? I worry maybe a little bit about the fun aspect of it, right? Like him not being able to reel in 26-year-old Rob Gronkowski, maybe can't reel in 19-year-old, Johnny Joe. Like that might be a little different.
Yeah.
But also, Donnie, again, like for the type of player Bill is hoping to bring in, that the idea is, Donnie, somewhat like let's not let the charade that you are here for school is a charade. Right? You have to go to class, right?
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, like Bill Belichick is not going to care about his graduation rate. He is there to put you into the NFL. He's making that incredibly clear. So I do think, Donnie, that if he listen, like this is our process there. Like you're going to still get plenty of guys to be receptive to that, right? And I think that's why they're going to be there. I will say though, and this is why it's good, Donnie, that he's not at Alabama or Georgia. North Carolina, Donnie, I believe they said it has the 90th recruiting class, high school wise. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be their game. Like, that's why him doing it now is so good, because it's the portal era. Like, that's his game to me, free agency, right? Yeah. Getting established guys to come over and make the decision to play for him. I don't think it's the high school kids where he's going to be making the dent.
It's a good point you bring up, because we don't know where it's going, but also, I brought this point up again. I was talking with Ben on the early line. This was a calculated move by Belichick. This wasn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. And one of my friends called me. He's like, hey, what do you think about Carolina? Ooh, let me go interview with them. Like, you don't have the 400-page manifesto on how you want to run things without identifying an institution where you feel that this could be implemented best. And I bring up like the Ohio States and the Texas of the world and, the Alabamas that are already ingrained as blue bloods, where you have to come in and be the savior. And what does that mean? You better go undefeated for the next 3 straight years and win 3 championships, because that's what we expect of you, Bill Belichick, coming into an institution that's used to winning championships. Carolina's not that. They're not even a football school. They are a basketball school. So when he comes to this environment and goes, I can get paid. I'm in fertile recruiting territory here. My name's Bill Belichick. And if we take those baby steps, first year bowl game, second year 9 wins, third year we might even be making the outskirts of the playoffs before we get things in. And then I'm getting old and I hand it over to my son, which again, we'll get to the son later. But I do think this was a calculated pick. This wasn't like no NFL teams want me, which maybe they didn't. Or there's going to be a lot of college spots opening up. I could probably angle into a really good one. This was a move used by him that goes, I think this is the greatest landing spot. Because if it doesn't work, what does that mean? Like, Belichick's, and he's a great coach. I don't think he's winning like 4 or 5 games a year, and that's his norm. Because Carolina already does that and more. But I thought it was that if I can get this team into the playoffs by like year 3, I will have a statue built here, it feels like.
Yeah, but I think, Donnie, because of the portal, like they dropped that total of win total of 6.5, and it's already been bet up countless times.
Yeah,
I think the books had a little too much fun by doing that. I'm not sure that win total isn't 7.5, 8.5.
People are flooding in now on the Tar Heels. Big time action tonight. But I do want to talk about the Sun. No, it's not Bronny James. It's Stephen Belichick next, right here on Moneyline.
You're listening to your source of sports gaming strategies and information.
We call it the winning edge.
It helps make the odds even.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Thursday Night Football, it's a big divisional battle tonight between the Rams and the 49ers. Super tight race in the NFC West. Seattle leads the way at 8-5-0. They've got a 4-game winning streak. The Rams are second, 7-6-0, winners in 2 straight. The Cardinals and 49ers are both 6-7-0. The Cards have lost 3 straight, while the Niners are coming off a win. On the Niners injury report, Nick Bosa, Khalil Davis, Drake Greenlaw, and Isaac Guerrero are all questionable. Ben Barch, Malik Mustafa, and Trent Williams listed as out. For the Rams, Kobe Durant and Tyler Higbee are out. Davis Allen, DeMarcus Robinson, and Jordan Whittington among those who are questionable. Bill Belichick is now officially the head coach at North Carolina. He signed a 5-year deal that needs to be approved by the Board of Trustees, which is scheduled to hold an emergency meeting today. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking taking Linzess, call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Be the master of your domain.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app so now you can get the winning edge while your wife is in a dressing room trying on stuff while you wait patiently on the uncomfortable chair. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, right at it. Big game Thursday Night Football, people. Looks like we've got juice in the building as well. The latest updated numbers. -2.5s and 3s across the board. Seems right. And we had the Fade the Public poll this morning, Kevin, which had a decisive advantage towards the Rams, but that poll was listed at +3, not +2.5, which I do think would have changed. The total in this game, 49.5. So we had 50s out there for a while. Some rain is in the forecast tonight, but weather temperatures in the 50s, not bad. And windy conditions, Kevin, not there, like 3-4 miles an hour. So you might have some rain. It's not going to deter you from an over and under per se at that price. I do think we get some juice tonight, but I'm just interested. For me, I actually think the 49ers win. Like the -2.5 was like my angle to play tonight. Thursday night home game, played better last week. Emotional win for the Rams, now going on the road, but so much meaning for both of these teams, but more meaning for the Niners. Niners lose, it's over. It's a wrap. You're terrible in the division. You're under 500, and you have hell to pay on your schedule coming up, and you're banged up. So I do think you get your best performance. But which way did you lean in this game, or which way are you looking between the Rams and the Niners?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the under right now. I think both teams offensively are coming off of, you could argue their two best games, respectively, of the year. You could probably make that argument pretty easily. In fact, with the Niners scoring 38 points and, tripling the yardage of the Chicago Bears, and then the Rams in that historic, shootout with the Buffalo Bills. And rarely, one of the reasons that neither one of these teams are definitively in the postseason mix right now is it's inconsistency. So to me, maybe one of them can step up for a second week in a row and score 24, 28, what it might be. I am the reason, we talk a lot, and I've told you how your approach on team totals, it makes sense because you don't have to bring everybody in. You can narrow what you're trying to get rid of. This is an instance where I want everybody in because I'm just looking for one of these teams to not answer the bell offensively tonight. So that's where I'm at right now when we're talking either side or total.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think we have juice on both sides, and the athletes certainly will be out there. The passing props, we talked about them earlier today, higher for Brock Purdy, 258.5, a little bit lower for Matthew Stafford. I do agree upon that. Touchdown props over 1.5 each side for throwing touchdowns, -120 for Purdy, -128 for Stafford. I think both of them can reach those, but the questions now start to come up, and even on FanDuel, like we have Brock Purdy listed, and his rushing total is probably, by the way, dropping. 21.5 now down to 18.5. for this game, which he generally doesn't go over that. But if you're down to your fourth-string running back, possibly a little bit rainy against a decent pass rush, maybe that moves a little bit. Kyron Williams, 72.5. But my question here tonight is, sometimes I do get caught up in things that are outside the X's and O's, which I like to use the outside momentum, as I like to say. Debo's pissed off. Brock understands. He says, I got to get him the football. Says there's no issue, no rift. I'm just a typical wideout. I want the football. It's not me. They're just not getting me the football. Kyle Shanahan, we got to get the guy the football. So the number does go higher for his receiving, Kevin. 46.5 up to 49.5. How are we playing Debo tonight? Because from my perspective, once we get the numbers with rushing and receiving, I'm looking forward to that. Is it a touchdown prop, which Tom Vecchio came on the show this morning? He likes Debo's touchdown. But how do we view Debo tonight?
Yeah, I think it's annoying to watch Debo lead the Niners in drops and then make the comment that none of it is his fault. I think he's been poor this season, and he's obviously not handling it well. We can get to the AJ Brown stuff if you want, because that's a whole other bag. Here's the thing, man. We know the rap that the wide receiver position gets. That doesn't excuse, though, what we're seeing within the space recently there.
Yeah.
If I play Debo, Donnie, I might look for a longest reception prop because I don't know if I want to bet the full receiving yards or the receptions or even the touchdown, because I think that's
Debo,
kind of the way we always look. But if he's going to do his thing, Donnie, it would be explosive, right? That's what we know Deebo Samuel for, and we know the Rams can certainly give up some explosive plays within their secondary.
And you know what the problem tonight is going to be at this point? I'm looking down that list and I go, okay, Juwan Jennings, now the official leading wide receiver for San Francisco, 69.5 yards. His longest reception, 24.5. There's a guy that's going to be on the panel tonight who loves Juwan Jennings, but is there a feeling that it won't be anywhere near his card tonight?
Juwan Jennings is too good now. That's the problem.
Oh,
it's just,
So
time has changed.
So if we look at the wide receivers listed on FanDuel, it's Puka, it's Cooper Kupp. He has got to go with one of them, no?
Yeah. Maybe he just takes Jennings. Kittle, right? Like maybe he like Kittle is the staff. I don't know. He likes the Rams.
Who's the tight end he went with? It's Rams tight ends where they don't even get in the game. It's like, that's my guy.
Higbee?
Yes.
I think it was Higbee, and then they shut him down. They're like, you know what?
Parkinson, maybe? Is that the other one? Who was he with?
Yeah, maybe it was Parkinson. Could have been.
Yeah.
It was, again, he was like, he didn't get a target last week, he said halfway through the show. It's like, all right, man. Like, glad we spent the whole window tracking this guy. That's good.
Man. But yeah, I think, from my angle tonight, I already know I'm trying to set this up. I don't know if I'm going near Puka or Cooper Kupp, but I think one of those might have to be in if I go an alt parlay. But I really do like George Kittle tonight. And you know who else I'm looking at, Kevin? Which I think I'm going to have to separate and just bet it aside myself. It's Kyle Juszczyk's receiving prop tonight. Checking some other outlets, 6.5 to 7.5. Now, when you look at his numbers, Kevin, a big game for him is one catch for 9 or 10 yards. So it's about right. But there's two things I'm trying to ask myself. And again, I don't think they'll be in parlays because the last thing you do in a parlay is say, let me just take a shot on a guy that I hope is getting the football 1 or 2 times. You know how that works out. It's usually poorly. You want a lot of targets, a lot of chances, and if it doesn't get the number, so be it. But Juszczyk, even with an anytime touchdown tonight, I think there's so much turmoil in the backfield where I'm fighting to say, Donnie, who scores tonight? Does Kyron make sense for the Rams? Yeah, it does. Puka, Kupp, of course they do. But the two guys I'm actually looking for to score a touchdown, probably Deebo and Kyle Juszczyk tonight. How about that?
Yeah, man, it's a nice ticket item there. How expensive is Kyron, did you say, Donnie?
Kyron's minus 145 when we were doing the show this morning. He's still minus 145 at FanDuel.
It's not terrible.
It's not a bad price, though. It's not a bad price.
All things considered, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I worry about the game a little bit, though.
For a touchdown. Juszczyk.
Phew! It's a big number.
Massive. Hold on. Now, anytime touchdown scoring marker for our guy Joe
Stafford. Purdy and Stafford, 100%.
I saw Stafford at 17 to 1. Is there any chance? Stafford's rushing prop, Kevin, is a half tonight. It's a half.
Yeah. I don't know. I tuned in on Monday. I told you I was checking in on the guys. I saw him run in Joe Burrow. Balls at the Cowboys, 45. He's like, I could use Burrow to sneak one in there. Sneak one in.
You think Burrow can score in this final drive? And by the way, that Monday night, it was the first quarter was fantastic. You're looking at all your bets going game on, we are live. And then Cooper Rush fell off the map. And I'm saying at the end of the game, how can I make money? At the half, makes it, you put in a couple bets. I put an anytime touchdown in the second half, which basically was 2 for Jamar Chase. And then I put T. Higgins. Higgins got a red zone target on a third down, didn't catch him. Damn it. But then at the end of the game, I think I'm going to lose just about every bet I have in this one because Cooper Rush has been bad. Jamar Chase leaks out and gets that touchdodown. He's running down the sideline, and I'm screaming, don't you dare slide. Do not slide. Because he's slowing down. He's just slowing down because he's a G. I'm just going to coast into the end zone. Cooper Rush, 24 yards on the final drive, which you can just dink and dunk. And I watched a quarterback that looked like he is just not an NFL player at all. So I lost money because Cooper couldn't get to 200 total passing yards in this game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was messing around with it at home. I took some Burrow, 375 plus, 400 plus.
Yeah.
So him sitting on 369, I'm like, Cooper, wouldn't be a terrible time to go tie this thing up, activate OT. We'll see. I think Dallas would have kicked 1, which is the best part, but not meant
we were
to be.
figuring OT happening, but the fact that if you had the 5.5 ticket in your pocket, plus 5.5 for the Cowboys, the way that final 4 minutes played out and you lost, you could have wrote a book about that. And they did. Much more coming up. It's Moneyline. It's Donnie and Kevin. We'll be right back.
Loser is kind of a mean-spirited slur.
But it doesn't have to stick.
Tell them to listen to SportsGrid and fix it.
No, thank you. Later.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. Shop Chuck Sanders. Bill Belichick is now officially the head coach at North Carolina. He signed a 5-year deal that needs to be approved by the Board of Trustees, which is scheduled to hold an emergency meeting today. Thursday Night Football, it's a big divisional battle tonight between the Rams and the 49ers. Super tight race in the NFC West. Seattle leads the way at 8-5-0. They've got a 4-game winning streak. The Rams are second, 7-6-0 winners in 2 straight. The Cardinals and 49ers are both 6-7-0. The Cards have lost 3 straight, while the Niners are coming off a win. On the Niners injury report, Nick Bosa, Khalil Davis, Dre Greenlaw, and Isaac Guerrero are all questionable. Ben Barch, Malik Mustafa, and Trent Williams listed as out. For the Rams, Kobe Durant and Tyler Higbee are out. Davis Allen, DeMarcus Robinson, and Jordan Whittington among those who are questionable. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Ever find holiday shopping overwhelming? We've got to figure out what they want and then find it all too. Enter Kohl's. They have the best gifts all in one spot. The toys your kids have been asking for, the silk PJs she's been eyeing, and the stylish sweater he'll love. And you can get 20% off some of your gifts during their customer appreciation event. Yup, holiday shopping at Kohl's is the move. Select styles, offers end December 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to toys. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If SportsGrid was a burrito, we'd be the one with steak and carnitas packed so full every bite made your cheeks poof out like Dizzy Gillespie, so the name stuck and now even your mother calls you Dizzy. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Let's get back to college football. Quick angle we left off on. Nepotism, you see it in sports, particularly Bronny James and LeBron James. They get them and get you drafted and get you on this team and get you paid. You're not going to take any commercial flights. You're playing the G League when I tell you to play the G League. And if I ever get moved out of Los Angeles, you're going to come with me. Now, we can have a whole show on LeBron James and Bronny James, but we're not going to. The first thoughts of Bill Belichick going to UNC was like, ooh, that's interesting. And then right behind it was the wave of Bill Belichick's going there on the concept that he'll coach for a couple of years and you will give those reins to my son as head coach at UNC. So I always get my eye up at that point. Like the eyebrow gets raised. I'm like, oh, hold on here. If Bill Belichick coaches for 4 years and the concept is good, they're winning football games and his son is there, they're going to hire his son right off the bat. But what does happens if Bill Belichick goes there and it's mediocre at best? And he goes, all right, 3 years are up. I expect 5 years, $50 million guaranteed for my son. That was in my contract, and I'm going to step aside now. We can't have that.
So I do think it is a good point that the deal assumes Belichick will be successful.
Yes.
It assumes that the parting ways of North Carolina and Bill Belichick will be because Bill is now, I'm satisfied. I would no longer like to be a head coach anywhere, right?
Yes.
Unless he ended up taking an NFL job, but I don't really think that's going to happen. So I think that that's a really fair point, Donnie.
Yeah.
However, my take on this whole, Stephen Belichick thing. He's 37 years old and was just a defensive coordinator for Washington. It was a top 30 defense. When you think about all of his NFL experience, when you think about his last name, and you think about his opening season at, like, Donnie, why would Washington be a top 30 defense in college football, right? That's a great job by him. Like, to me, DRS. No, it's not.
I don't know.
I mean, Donnie, you think about all the turnover Washington had, right? With everybody leaving.
Yeah.
I think having Washington was in a top 30 defense last year, and they were in the national championship game. Like, Donnie, at a power level, a 37-year-old defensive coordinator, I think that is the type of guy that North Carolina would be happy to have as their head coach this year.
Yeah, it's just interesting the way it's written. I don't think it's ever going to be an issue because the experiment, if you will, for Bill Belichick, and I, say like it's not as if Gino Auriemma, a women's college basketball coach, like, you know what, we're going to break records now. I'm going to Ohio State as the head men's football coach because I'm a great CEO. I'll identify the talent. I'll bring them in here. I'll learn the football game, and everybody else will do a lot of things around me. Like, that's not what Bill Belichick is doing. He's not, as I say, reinventing the wheel. He's an unbelievable football mind that thinks he has a lot left in the tank, and he can go to a school and turn it around. It's not crazy to think that, again, in 2-3 years, you're like, hey, Carolina's a top 25 football team. Like, no, that's what we expect Bill Belichick to be. I just think it's interesting where it hands off. Or how about this? Bill's so good, and that defense is so dominant. Stephen Belichick's like, hey, South Carolina just opened up, Dad. I'm out of here. I'm being the head coach there. You know what I mean? Like, does he get boxed in? Like, I don't even want this job. I can go to Texas because Sark's struggling now.
Yeah, I imagine, Donnie, if he was able to convince McDaniels a few times to pass on NFL head coaching jobs, like he can convince his son that he's best off waiting. But Donnie, here's the thing, and I don't know if it's going to work out, but if all of a sudden now North Carolina is giving you $20 million NIL, Donnie, it's one of the better jobs in college football. Like, I know that's going to sound
from a coaching
crazy.
Standpoint. That's why I said, like, this is the perfect scenario. Like, if Bill goes there for 3 straight years and wins 8 games and go, hey, that was pretty successful. Made bowl games and, it just didn't work.
Right.
But, the program's on good standing at this point. Like, he didn't go to Ohio State after a national championship and be like, we couldn't get back to the College 12. What an idiot. What a dumbbell coach. The reason why he picked North Carolina was not anything short of, I think this is the perfect spot for me to get into because failing for me is not winning a national championship. But North Carolina won't look at it that way. Hey, we're a better team in 2028 than we were in 2024 because Bill was here. That's all he's looking to do.
Oh, well, again, like they, to your point, they fired Mac Brown because this past season was a down year. So he is not walking into a buzzsaw. He's walking into a program that needs some pop. Now, Mac Brown made an ACC championship game, but for whatever reason, Mac Brown kept getting NFL quarterbacks at North Carolina.
Yes.
UNC put 2 straight quarterbacks into the NFL. One at the 3rd overall selection now.
Like you should be smashing teams. Yeah, you should have been smashing teams at Carolina when he was doing that, and they weren't.
So I understand, Donnie, that it could be a little, head over my skis, and maybe the portal stuff won't work out. But Donnie, here's how I'll put it to people. If the books get too excited about the Belichick thing and put North Carolina at 150 to 1 to win the national championship next year, which is what you would expect North Carolina to be, I will take one of the free bets and I will put it on Bill Belichick to win the national championship next year. I will, because Donnie, look at the ACC. Like, I'm not telling you it will be the expectations. What I'm telling you, though, is if he wins the ACC next year, you won't be stunned.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, it's a down ACC. No, I wouldn't be. The way the ACC is structured, it's Clemson a powerhouse? I mean, come on now. SMU's the new big thing. Miami's always going to mess around and get athletes and not win the big game. Yeah, so that's what I said. It was a calculated risk on Belichick to say, this is the perfect spot. Because he didn't say, you know what? I'll rebuild Vandy and smash, every SEC team.
Yes, Donnie. Donnie, it's true. This is as if you or I were his advisors on this. Like, hey, listen. Can you guys find me the perfect program to walk into? Like, I don't know. I think you had a tweet yesterday where you referred to it as a mid-tier program, or maybe not, or something like that.
Yeah.
But Don, yes and no, right? Like, it is obviously not one of the powers of college football, but it is not a program that he is drawing dead off the bat.
Yep.
He's got real pop here.
He does got pop down there. I'm going to ask Kevin a question, too, on the expansion of the instant replay rule in professional football. Do we need a certain penalty included in there? When the show in style next, make sure you keep the dial right here, Sirius XM Channel 159.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
It's a choice.
Roll the dice or listen to us.
Luck is finding a good parking spot. Strategy is getting the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid Radio presents Gridiron Greats.
Running back Walter Payton set the then NFL rushing title in 1984, passing Jim Brown. Sweetness was a rare combination of power, speed, and agility. In 1999, Payton lost his life at the age of 45. Former teammate Dan Jiggins.
He was, at all stops along the way, the most ferocious competitor that I've ever seen.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Grady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Football Full Circle.
I do like the Rams in terms of a value play. And you're right, if you're putting Tampa and LA side by side, as much as I believe in Baker and as much as I believe in those playmakers, Rashad White, that stepped up, I do feel that LA is more complete offensively, and I do believe in their defense just a little bit more.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
You're listening to the voice of authority.
Sports gaming strategies and information on daily sporting events.
In other words,
information you can take to the bank. We are your trusted source for gaming, odds,
and more.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Instant replay, Kevin. Most people understand why it's there, and rightfully so. Even if it's going to cost you to lose a bet. The call right, you never go, I can't believe instant replay reviewed that, and his foot was out of bounds. I lost my bet. That's not fair. Like, you live with it because of this opposite side. It's an instant replay that can gain you back. And whenever is the right play call and the right move, we live with it here. The reason I bring this up is the NFL, the thing I can't get my head wrapped around, Kevin, which I don't know why this isn't full time. You're telling me the NFL doesn't just have a huge war room somewhere in New York City that has massive TVs all the way around and goes, okay, we're going to take 2 ex-referees or 2 retired referees or referees waiting in the wings. Going to need you on Sunday afternoon. We're going to assign 2 of you to a few monitors. You watch this game at 1, and then you're going to have another game at 4. You see what I mean? Like have 5 different crews watch the 1 o'clocks and the 4 o'clocks. The expedited instant replay is fantastic because you know what that is? Yeah. We'll sit tonight on the desk and go, I don't know if he caught that. They show 1 replay. Yeah, he dropped it. Press 1 button into the ear of the ref. Hey, but we're not even going to go to a full replay. Put that ball back at the 34-yard line. We're going to put the clock at 2:04. That was an incomplete pass. All right, expedited replay, and the ref announces it on the field. It's fantastic. It's the way it's supposed to work when there's not like, hey, I need 17 looks, so we got to take a commercial break. Now, number 2, we need to do it more, and you don't need it on holding. I don't want it on pass interferences. But now I have gotten to the point where the egregious calls need to stop. And I don't mean we didn't call pass interference because we got a guy tackled. That's usually handled 99% of the time. But this year more than any, Kevin, we are watching plays, which include Joe Burrow, get his head twisted off in the middle of the field, and there is no call out there. Like, I'm asking you this question. Expedited replay that we as the public can watch an instant replay come up on the screen in 1 second and be like, how did they miss that? The NFL needs to put that in for face masks. No? Or are you against that?
So here's why I struggle with it. Because realistically, Donnie, if you were to make face masks challengeable, right, you'd never have to challenge any of them. They'd all be expedited reviews. Well, hey, don't worry about it. Tell them to save the red flag. You missed an egregious one. This guy's head just spun off its shoulders. The problem, I guess, would be and they aren't the same, Donnie, but is it opening Pandora's box to holding penalties and things of that nature?
And how I counter that is those other calls, Kevin, are subjective.
Yeah.
I don't think a face mask can be subjective, because every single play, guys grab each other, but it's in the context of, okay, if I engage with a defensive lineman, I'm allowed to actually technically hold you. But the minute that running back goes right or left, if I don't drop that hold on you, it's holding. Never before do we see up the middle, like a guy gets his face mask pulled. It's like, did he really pull it that hard, though?
To your point, Donnie, it's the same with a horse collar tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should go both ways, because there are times where they call these horse collar tackles and you go, oh, that's not what that was at all. And here's where you really run into issues for the NFL is you have these missed face masks or incorrectly called horse collars.
Yes.
And your broadcast shows the replay multiple times with Collinsworth and Pereira going, I don't know what's going on here. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not sure how they missed that. Tough call, Terry. Like, that's not helping the viewing public, right? So from that respect, Donnie, I don't disagree, because missing a face mask is really it's a great point by you. It's clear as day. You can't argue anything about it.
Yeah.
It's easier than a catch.
It is. Like again, even with catches now, we have no idea what the call is. Like I watched I think it was the interception. I think it might have been an interception Monday night where the guy caught the football, but it was laying on the ground. He had like a finger on, like, that's a catch. I don't even know what I'm watching anymore at this point, because 3 years ago, at least we hated the rule, but you knew exactly if the ball hit the ground and it moved, it wasn't a catch. And now it's like, well, how much did it move? Did it move a lot? Did it move a little? Did he have it? And I was like, that's clearly an incomplete pass, but they called it a touchdown here. By the way, Kevin, we do have a doubleheader once again on Monday Night Football. And next Saturday is football, but we don't have the Pro Football Today crew there. There's going to be BSS. Like, what is the schedule the next couple weeks here for us? What's going on?
Next Saturday, we're going to give you a CFT because you will have 3 college football playoff games on, but you will have 2 NFL games on. So we're going to give you an extended hour to talk a little NFL for people there at DRS. We didn't want to yank you all the way in to try and make it happen. Here's my question to you.
1 hour.
Here's my question to you.
What is it?
How are those college football games going to do against NFL?
I mean, look, if you had me set up these seedings, it would have outdone the NFL. But the way they're doing now, Kevin, I don't know if they're going to be doing as well at this point. That'll do it for an exciting, action-packed Thursday show of Moneyline. This is Donnie. This is Kevin. This is Chris behind the wheels of steel. We'll catch you tomorrow on a Football Friday.
We're everywhere.
You can get SportsGrid on the radio, TV, the internet.
We got your number, Sporto.
That shirt doesn't match. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.